it looks more like a time trial than a race, I guess. So is that true or not true?
Not true. Nope. It's 5K. I think, part of the early stages of all of this is trying to continue to find voice to show the public what exactly the event is. But yeah, it's a 5K using the full stadium. One of the unique things with college campuses specifically that we have relationships with is we can go multiple venues. So, from the stadium potentially into the indoor practice facility, other adjacent venues, whether it's arenas or track and field. So got some cool options there.
All right. Well, then you need help getting the word out then, because
I know.
Because a stadium race looks cool. This looks like you're just doing stuff. And if you're going to do just like the stadium races that we know, then you got to get some video of that showing people going up and down the stairs, not just pushing sleds.
Agreed. Yeah, I mean, that's all part of the obstacles. That a lot of the content that came was from an initial Gronkowski.
No, I get it. When you do the demo days, I get it. It doesn't give you the full. It's not until you get your first full event that you get to. I totally get that, and because that'll help it. Because this sort of gamified, like, well, you get certain points for this, and certain points for that. I didn't think we'd be seeing the stairs at all. You'd just be doing these exercises, as it were.
So the idea there, coming across trying to figure out how to do something that was still fast paced, that wasn't slowing people down potentially upon failure of obstacles, trying to figure out a way that would give people, one, the option on what level of challenge they want to give themselves, and then two, some type of reward system for completion of obstacles. So the simple mechanics of it are, I did catch what you guys said about like 7 to 87 and making it for everybody. I don't think the goal is necessarily to make it for everybody.
All right, so you did listen or you didn't listen? Come on, Dan.
No, I did. I told you. Yeah, no, Vinny told me about it, and then I listened in.
Okay, so you did hear what we said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I caught you. Yep. Sorry. No, I was saying I didn't catch on to it by myself. Vinny told me about it, and then I listened yesterday.
Okay.
So the idea there is at its very simplest form, it's a 5K course with just a handful of obstacles, the simplest obstacles, speed ropes, simple hurdles, things like that are achievable. And then as you scale up to the difficulty of obstacles, people have the choice to either pass the obstacle and go for that time goal, which is the part that we're trying to figure out the messaging and exactly how to portray that, or to go for potentially attempt the obstacle. If they don't succeed in the obstacle, they just don't get the points. They carry on, they continue on the race course. If they do complete the obstacle, according to the rules, then they get to scan. That's where they collect points, and then they continue on the course as well.
So everyone's got RFID?
Correct. And there's 10 to 15 timing points along the course with signage that shows you how to check in and gain your time, your points if you successfully completed an obstacle.
So at the end of the race, there's some sort of board I check on of how I did, right?
Yeah. I mean, everything's live tracking, so you can go online and check live results there. And then we also have leaderboards up on the big screens.
I did some of the obstacles, not all the obstacles. My time says what? How am I? So is there then, am I comparing myself against somebody else's time, somebody else's points? Like who's number one?
So it's points. Points is the end, right? That's the end result.
So time is not relevant.
Time, it is relevant in the fact that if you come in under 40 minutes, there is the bonus point structure. And we're figuring out right now, again, the same kind of thing you're talking about, how to portray that exactly so that it's simple and makes sense. Essentially, if you look at it like this, you could race fast or you could race strong, or you could try to do both, right? So if you come in under 40 minutes and you choose to only do 4 obstacles, you're going to get the points you got for those obstacles plus 2,000 points sub 40. So, let's say I did that and I only did 4 100-point obstacles. I get 2,400 points. Where you decide you're going to do every single obstacle, not worry about your time, spend an hour. Our time could compare on the different strategies of race, and we could be really close within our points. But we race a completely different style of race with different alternatives.
So who's number one then, me or you in that scenario?
I'd have to look the exact math. I don't remember exactly how the numbers play out. I think I want to say off the top of my head, you got 1,500 for 3, 2,500. I think you come 3,000 if you do all the obstacles. And for me, I'd have to do at least, I think it's I mean, any combination of 1,000 points to get plus the 2,000 bonus points to get to 3,000. So there's a strategy game, which
I can say that I'm rooting for you, but I can say that if I'm confused, the public will be confused.
No, and I know that, yeah, and I think as
why not just make it? So why not just time people?
So, well, I think there's something to be said in the OCR world to give people the opportunity to not enter into a race where they're immediately intimidated. Like there's different styles, right? You can go in there and you can look at it and you can say, this is a challenge, but a lot of people are intimidated by what's out in front of them. And they feel like if they don't attempt what's put in front of them, it's automatic, and they fail. They either don't attempt it or they fail it. There's a loss there, right? So there's an alternative here that is, next time you come back, you can try everything, but this time you come up there and that's absolutely out of the question for you. You still could have a competitive style race that's a different style race.
And listen, I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say this.
That's all good, man.
But this is my experience of a race. This is my experience, whether it's Warrior Dash or whether it's Spartan Beast.
Yep.
Some people want to win, right?
Right.
Everybody else is having a good time. And of the everyone else having a good time, if possible, they still like to see their time, right? So you look at an open waiver, right? And he was out there with his friends. He took forever, but at the end, he goes and looks, and he goes, "Oh, I was 300th out of 3,000. That's not bad." And then they get on with their day. Do you see what I'm saying? So why not just have elite waves in the morning, right? Like we kind of know how to do. Everyone else is open, and your time is your time. I mean, this is my immediate reaction.
I think there's still something to be said in the industry, though. I think there's above average racers, and maybe some people call them competitive racers that aren't elite,
right?
That still want to be out there, or if let's say they're gym mates, right, and they're out there and they'd like to compete against each other in a smaller realm, where like this does allow them an opportunity to still compete against people that might race differently from them, that are their friends or their buddies, and let's say you and I go out there and we know we're different, completely different racers, and you're a much stronger racer than I am. We're never going to have that option for actual competition. We'll have fun, but we might separate on the race course or something like that. So this does give an opportunity for mid-level competition, I think, and just kind of trash talking among, whether it's gym mates or even, potentially if we're in a college scenario, from fraternity to fraternity nationally, or, with the Gronkowski involvement potentially in different stadiums, it could give opportunities for, team competitions between, Team Gronk and another collegiate or professional athlete that decides to come out and potentially do some form of partnership at a different stadium that is their home.
Maybe I'm just old. So. Maybe I'm just old and old school, and the kids today love to gamify everything and make it a more field day experience. But I think at the end of the day, I'm just talking about like getting you from a website ad or a video to getting someone to click the sign up button. And that's the part. I mean, I think in a best case scenario, they're just excited about going. And then when they go there, they kind of realize the points or whatever it is, and they have a fun time regardless. Right. Like that's sort of the goal, is to not overcomplicate it between zero and signing up. Right.
Right. Agreed. And I think that there's some instructional videos that we can get out there that are going to at least show a simplified version of all of this that isn't in the public face yet.
Right.
And so we want to get there. I mean, at the very least, we're in unique venues. We have that cool stadium experience. We have a very an awesome quality of event. Good team, great partners. I mean, the Gronkowski's coming on board is great. I mean, I can speak a little bit like Rob's goal in retirement, and the brothers included, is really to show health and fitness after retirement and after professional play. All of them are post-professional play of some type, whether it's football or baseball. So kind of the opportunity for them to still stay in the fitness world and have some kind of team competition was pretty exciting for them.
So you did a couple of test events. Well, you had a couple of test events, but then one got rained out, so you did one. So these next two events, Buffalo and Tampa, and then what's coming up for 2020?
So 2020, we're lining up a spring tour right now, and it's a mix of, I would say, as much as I can say right now with contracts going into place, it's a mix of collegiate and professional venues. for the spring, starting in late January all the way through June for the spring tour.
So how many events?
Potentially 8 to 10.
Okay.
Yep.
And then
we'll
go ahead.
And then we'll set sites on the fall. I mean, that's going to happen pretty quick, so we can start to lay out the full 2020 calendar. But the spring season has got some great availability and some really, really great venues, football fields especially, while there's the off season. So we got some good opportunities there.
Because you know how important it is to get like way ahead on people's calendars.
Absolutely. So yeah, the announcement will come out this fall. Date is TBD right now, but most likely it'll be prior to the Buffalo event. We'll get a 2020 tour announcement out.
Cool. All right. Anything else people should know?
No, man. I appreciate the industry. It's fun being back in the world. I stepped away and it was a good break and breather, and it's fun to be back in the OCR world. And obviously, I think there's still a crew of fitness world that can step into the OCR world that's out there. I think some of the major players have grabbed a lot of them, but I think that there's still, whether it's a younger generation that's up and coming, collegiate athletes and people in that realm, we have a good, step in the door there. But yeah, I mean, it's a work in progress, like anything, right? As it gets started, and we're thinking we're bringing right now what we can as the best possible product. And I know that we have a good team that's able to flex and adjust as we go to keep bringing a good product. So it's good.
Well, yeah. And I just think definitely lean on the stadium, event and experience, because, a lot of cities do that now. They're just like, hey, finish on the 50, and people are like, they'll do it just for that. Right. Even if it's not historic, like Lambeau or Fenway, people just like the idea of being able to run in their local stadium. So yeah, I think it's definitely there's definitely a market for that, and with Warrior Dash bowing out, definitely a market for the shorter races. So I mean, I think you've got a lot of keys that one would need to make it work.
Agree, man. I agree. That's why we're doing it. Appreciate it.